Welcome to the Movie Madhouse. I'm Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
And we are back.
Are we? You didn't seem so sure there for a second ago.
For a second, I wasn't sure.
Okay.
Now I'm sure. We are back. And I'm going to throw this up right away because I love our topic. I can't wait to get going on it. Top 10 shows from our past, I put it.
Yeah.
Because I think it was Ryan Haskell commented on there and goes, is this like before or now? And it's like, well, pre-2010-ish.
Right.
So
Because we did a TV show on already.
Yeah.
But this is like specifically where these are the shows that made us.
Exactly.
That's how I was taking it.
Exactly.
That's how I built my list. These shows made me. And it'll show.
Yeah. I actually have to say that for my list too. These are the ones I can revisit, no problem.
Oh yeah.
Let me see. News.
Well, okay. You're the only one who's seen Ant-Man.
Yeah, so I won't go into Ant-Man right now. We'll save that for another day. Oh, Jamie. Hello, ladies. I see.
That's loud.
Hello.
That's what I see, ladies.
Okay.
She likes to mock us.
Well, okay.
I think it said lads.
It did.
Yeah. I don't even know her. Why would she mock me?
Because we're on the show.
Oh, okay.
That's
Got it.
the only reason,
Guilt
right?
by association.
Exactly. Did you know it's snowing where she lives right now?
Well, I'm sorry, Jamie, but you can have it.
Winter peg.
Okay. You
That's
can
where
have
she
our
lives.
share.
Yeah.
It's cold, but you can have our share.
Oh, she doesn't know. I got a box ready. If it snows here again, it's getting shipped.
And my mom left today for Cuba. She's going on a getaway. So
yeah, Jamie, she's been on the show.
Oh.
Editor for slamwrestling.net.
Oh, it was a while ago.
That Jamie. Yes.
That was a while ago.
There's nothing to the
My
fact that they're
apologies.
going, oh, that Jamie. No, not a thing.
I smoke a lot of weed. I'm sorry.
It's true. I had to keep shoveling to fill it up. Oh yeah, that's right. She was on for the Dolph Lundgren top 10.
That's right.
What's her connection to Dolph Lundgren? Oh yeah,
she likes Dolph Lundgren.
Yes.
She was a big Dolph Lundgren fan, as we heard that night.
Yep. She had a great top 10 list too.
Oh yeah, but
nothing like the ones we're gonna do tonight.
And again, Dolph Lundgren still going strong.
Oh, no kidding.
So.
I actually rewatched Aquaman last week.
Oh yeah,
yeah, he's so good in Aquaman.
I can't go there.
No, I liked it. I like Aquaman, and then I rewatched Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Okay,
nice.
It's interesting how they didn't really care about setup because Justice League happens before Aquaman,
right?
And in Aquaman, Mira comes and he's like, "Leave me alone. I don't know you. Go away." But yet, Justice League, he's literally running around with her.
Right.
So, oops.
Well,
let's pick apart the universe they're destroying anyway, right?
That's DC.
But I love Zack Snyder's Justice League. Oh, that's so good.
Again, it was better.
With the best performance by Jared Leto in anything ever.
I gotta admit that Joker was a good Joker.
Yes.
Yes. The Suicide Squad one, I honestly believe editing killed what he had because there's so much more that he talked about filming and other people have talked about him filming that didn't get seen.
Yeah.
So I honestly believe editing killed that Joker.
Probably, yeah.
That's just my opinion, though.
But I, again, also hold to the theory that he wasn't really the Joker in that movie. So,
I'm with you on that one.
Still stand tall on that whole Jason Todd theory.
I love that theory.
It fills all the holes.
Jamie says, but Heath is the best. See,
yes.
Honestly, this is what the fun part with the Joker. You can honestly say he's the best anarchy Joker. Because Heath Ledger Joker is just anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he even says in here, goes, I'm like a dog chasing a car. I wouldn't know what to do if I get it. You know, he just wants to watch the world burn.
But see, people are forgetting though, Cameron Monaghan on Gotham.
Mm-hmm.
Come on now. He's definitely in contention, even though he never had the name Joker. Come on.
Oh yeah.
Didn't he eventually?
I don't think, not that I recall, unless if he did in the last season, I don't remember.
See, I don't remember that either.
I just remember, I think it was his Jerome. He had like multiple names.
Oh, right. There's Al, our wrestling chameleon there. He says, I just watched Suicide Squad, and he had like 2 or 3 scenes. Yeah, they just stripped it right down.
Yep.
You know, well, we've had this on the podcast many times there, James, haven't we? A whole discussion on the Suicide Squad.
Big debate.
Hey, Ben, how are you? My favorite TV show by large margin is Mad Men. Nothing else even close. See, I've never watched that.
Me either.
James?
I want to say the first 2 or 3 episodes of the first season. It was great, but for whatever reason, I went away to watch something else and never came back to it.
And see, that's what it was with me. People keep saying, you got to watch this. Oh, okay. I'll sit down and watch. It's a little Letterkenny-ish. You got to watch this. And it's like, oh, okay. And then, Sons, you know, look, Dexter. Oh, look, this. So it's something like Squirrel, you know, pulls me away. I do want to watch it because I've heard nothing but good things about it.
You know, it's especially bad now. There's so much good TV out there, so many good shows. And it's like, oh, I got to check out the latest Taylor Sheridan, but then there's this over here, and then there's this.
But that's just it. There's so much bad out there too, but it's all mixed together.
Yeah.
So before, I can't remember who I spoke to about this before, but before, like we'll say the 80s and 90s, you had to write good because there was 5 stations.
Yeah.
You know, and to get on them, it had to be amazing. Now you will stream you on Hulu or, you know, Roku.
Or just throw it up on YouTube and get the exposure. You know, that ends up being a lot of ploy.
Yep.
So, you know.
So now everything's getting made, whether it should or not. Al says, what other movie did he play Joker in? Oh, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yes.
That 4-hour masterpiece. I'll say it. It's a masterpiece. I love how long it is. It's
That's
weird.
A strong word to put on there, man.
Dude, literally, I watch that thing and I can't picture editing that down. Okay, maybe by about 20 minutes overall time, because there's some scenes that are really long, you know, like a pan across the river that goes about 4 seconds too much. But
in this day and age of streaming, it doesn't matter how long it is.
Oh, yeah, it does.
Because
if it's more than 10 minutes, off.
But that's just it. But okay, I know it's a 4-hour movie. I can break it up into an hour or 2 hours and always come back to it right from where I left off.
Well, they did that. It's a 6-part movie with an epilogue.
So, but you can do that. If you didn't have that capability, though,
well, it
is too long of a movie. Release it in parts.
There's one that I watched on Roku that I absolutely adore. It was a remake of The Fugitive with Boyd Holbrook and Kiefer Sutherland.
I think I heard about that.
14 parts. It's done in 8-minute drops.
Okay, I guess.
Really?
I hear about that, the 8-minute thing.
And yeah.
And it's got Boyd Holbrook.
Al said, I find it hard to sit and watch a 2-hour movie. Dude, me
Good
too. YouTube has killed me. You know, I went through a period during the blip where I just watched YouTube. And now, if it's like over a half hour, I'm like picking up my phone or grabbing a book and starting.
A movie has to really have something to hold me.
Yep.
You know, which I will say, Marcel, the Shell with Shoes On, fits that bill. That movie is one of the most beautiful films I've ever seen.
That's disturbing.
It's nominated for Best Animated Film.
Really?
I don't think expected to win, but it is an amazing movie. But the story behind the making of it is even a little more fascinating.
Oh, okay.
So, but we can talk about that.
We're going to have to talk about that.
Yes.
Ryan says
Oscars.
The writing.
We'll be talking about it at the Oscars.
Oh, yeah, the Oscar show. The writing in the last 20 years has not been matched because of streaming. Fargo, True Detective, better writing. Yeah, like
exactly.
It was Sopranos, I believe, or something like that, right in that time period when TV shows became a real thing. Before, TV was always a place where actors went to die.
Yes.
Right? But they had to have good writing to get on there. That's why I love Night Court and Cheers and stuff like that. But Sopranos hit, I know Game of Thrones was another one. They showed that TV shows are mini
We can
movies.
do fantasy on TV and make it look good. Yeah.
So you're right, Ryan, there.
You know what it all attributes to? And it's the same as look at all the comic book movies and everything. It's look who's in control. It's our generation of our parents were the workhorses, and we got to explore the arts and open our creativity.
Yep.
And that's why we're in this boom.
Exactly. I think in the future,
you're welcome. Gen X is providing all of it. This is our shit.
In the future, I'm going to tilt that camera just a bit more because that one poster's got a huge glare from the screen. Yeah. There you go. Just sit like that for the show. Speaking of which, our show. Oh, Al. Same. I get bored quickly because I can normally tell you what's coming up or the ending to most, and I had to tell the person I went with. We're never going to see a movie, Al.
Definitely not.
No, I'm the same way. A good movie will drop you hints and mislead you a little. A bad movie you can predict all the way. And I should watch how I say that. Because there's been some movies that are completely predictable I still enjoyed.
But they do that on purpose. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not there for the ride. You're there for the presentation.
But I will never, ever talk about it during the show. It drives Christina insane. Literally, we're watching Last of Us. Why did he do that? It's like, okay, literally, we've watched the same 5 minutes of programming. Why do I know more?
I unfortunately do blurt things out once in a while to Crystal sometimes. So yeah. I think I might have gotten on her nerves a couple episodes of Wednesday.
Oh yeah. Well, that was okay. Yeah, it was a good show. Yeah. Again, amazing writing, amazing talent.
Yep.
Yes.
With an unpredictable material.
Exactly.
So
all right, let's get to our list
of
our shows that we love. And we did kind of put in the caveat pre-2010. That's when it can start. If it went over that, whatever. But that came out before 2010. Jason, what's your number 10?
My number 10 actually fits that bill where it started before, but it's still going today. Is South Park.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, interesting.
South Park, I still go back to it on a regular basis. I don't watch them as they air. I tend to binge like the season. I'd like it in longer doses.
Yeah.
But just the fact that they don't care, nothing is off limits.
Yeah.
They've proven that time and again. But what really endeared me to them is I heard them on a podcast years ago. And Matt Stone flat out said, you want to know the key to our success? It's the fact that we don't care. I have had all my stuff packed in the back of my car, ready to go on vacation as soon as they cancel us. But they keep re-signing us, so I can't go on vacation. He said, that's the key.
That car's sitting there rusting out right now.
Now, admittedly, they had those few years, a couple years ago, where they got a little more political on the political slant and went for a long form story, kind of not their wheelhouse. So, but they acknowledged not their best work, so they pulled it back. They're going back to the roots a bit more.
But it's good they experiment still.
Yeah.
Because going on as long as they have, they're like a Simpsons. They're just forever.
Oh, their pandemic stuff was great.
Yeah.
They did the COVID special, and then they did an after, like another one.
Yeah.
And so good.
Al says, hated South Park until I actually sat down and actually watched a full episode. You have to, because some of the stuff out of context makes no sense.
Exactly.
And it's like, why are they saying that? Well, you watch the show and it's usually for a completely different reason than you're actually thinking.
And I was an OG South Park guy because it was hard to see here.
Yeah.
Like when it was breaking out in the States where they had easier access, we got it on global television at 12:35 a.m. on Friday night. If we were lucky, some nights they didn't, or some weeks they didn't even show it. And that was when they only had 6 episodes.
Ryan says, I watched it on Antenna. Yeah. Yep.
You managed to get it out of Detroit then.
Yeah.
But it was hard to come by in those days.
Exactly. But you're right. It is a great show for that. Not everything's a hit, but all the stuff is fun.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and the movie.
And it's filthy, it's disgusting and offensive. So
When you have Robin Williams sing your song at the Oscars, you know you've hit it.
the fact that they've been nominated for an Oscar,
Mhm.
okay, and those same writers have also been nominated for a Tony for their musical Book of Mormon. So like there's talent there, there's accolades connected
Mhm.
there.
Oh yeah, good pick. Okay, James, number 10.
Okay, I heard an echo.
What?
No, I just heard an echo in the background.
Really?
Okay, I guess it's gone now.
I'm messing with him.
My number 10. My number 10's it's a BBC sitcom called Coupling. And my younger brother Jordy and I discovered this when we went to the UK for the World Jiu-Jitsu Championships, and when we stayed in London for the what was it? I think it was London for a few days. We were in a hotel and we saw like a few episodes of Band of Brothers, and then we also watched this sitcom called Coupling, and it was basically like a British version of Friends, because you had 3 guys and 3 girls, and you have like the idiot friend and the cool friend and the smart, but it's just a completely different dynamic, different kind of humor, but just as enjoyable. It only ran about 4 seasons.
Interesting. See, I know I've heard of it. I've never seen it.
No,
They did an American remake, and they canceled it after like 3 episodes.
That happens. It's either amazing.
that's probably why the name sounds vaguely familiar. Is I'm thinking I watched the American version.
See, it depends on who makes it, because a lot of British stuff that they try and remake here bombs horribly.
Absolutely.
There's only been a couple that I know of, like Three's Company and All in the Family, that actually
The
surpassed any. The Office. Well, The Office is equivalent to its UK counterpart.
But the UK counterpart was so short.
Yeah. Well, they only have 6 episodes in a season. So,
Yeah, well, yeah.
speaking of British comedy, anyone know Red Dwarf? Amazing show, but not many know.
I've always heard of it, but never watched it.
Yep, I've seen a couple episodes, and it is good. But again, I never watched a lot of it, so
I never gave it a chance.
it's fun. See, and it didn't make my list, but I think it probably should have. It's Faulty Towers. That's another amazing British.
I should have watched that because I was a Monty Python fan, but I never did watch Fawlty
my
Towers.
God, yeah.
James, were
Yeah.
there any notables that came out of Coupling?
Yes. Okay, sorry.
Oh,
I'm
no,
just
no.
trying to remember. I'm just trying to remember the guy's name. Well, Jack Davenport, who played
Chandler.
Norrington in the Pirates of the Caribbean
Okay, that
first 3 movies.
Okay.
And you've also got Richard Coyle, Richard Coyle plays Jeff in the show. He's been in a few movies where you say, "Oh, I recognize him." He played Aberforth, Dumbledore's brother, in the latest Fantastic Beasts.
I haven't watched that one.
Nope.
Did you guys watch Chilling Adventures of Sabrina?
no.
Okay, he was a really, really bad guy in that one.
No. Mike may have, because I know he was into Riverdale, but
Yeah, he played.
To watch it. I told someone I would, and I didn't, and I feel bad.
And the other guys, you'd recognize Ben Miles, but he doesn't. He's says he played Tay Colma in Andor, but I can't remember. I remember seeing him somewhere, but I don't remember that character name.
No,
I haven't watched Andor.
dude.
What?
I haven't
Okay.
watched it.
The podcast is over until Jason watches Andor, but we'll be back.
How can you not watch the prequel series to the greatest Star Wars movie there is?
Because again, my flavors are just my tastes are waning on this stuff. I don't know.
My goodness.
Mandalorian, of course, but
Oh, I was so jumping off topic here again. I was put in a position where I didn't know how to answer. I was sitting with Christina watching The Last of Us, and she's going, "Eh, what do you mean, eh? This show is amazing." She goes, "Star Wars is better," and it's like,
ooh,
ooh,
oranges, apples,
no.
and oranges.
But it's how do I answer that? Am I glad she's now finally acknowledging Star Wars? Or do I get mad that she's putting down Last of Us? Like, ooh.
Well, I would get more mad that the fact that to her Star Wars was already down here and she's putting Last of Us even lower.
That's I want to go out and talk to you before I forget.
I'll
Kenny,
remind you.
thank you. Kenny says y'all got to see Blood and Honey. Yeah, he was posting about it.
It's playing in London.
Yeah,
I looked it up. It's playing in London.
That's
I
not very
so
far.
badly
Road
wanna make
trip.
that trip.
I think we need to. Okay, back to our list.
Yes. Now, what is your number 10, Rob?
Number 10, I went with one of my all-time. I know this is going to be traumatic for you, and I do apologize. X-Files. I love that show.
I watched it in spurts.
In that way, it's just draining.
See, that's what he should have done. It was a challenge way back in the day on the show, and he binged it for like I don't know how many seasons.
I watched all of it, the entire everything up to that point in less than 2 months.
Yeah.
I think I watched like 1 or 2 episodes in the original part, and then the movie came out, and then I started watching it because it picked up right after the end of the movie.
Yep.
And then lasted for about 6 months, and then I stopped again. And then I saw the second movie, but I never went back to the show. And then I watched the original series finale before it finished the first time.
Yeah.
So
he did.
I overdosed.
I'm surprised he's still with us. That was a lot of X-Files.
It is possible to overdose your binge watching, people. This is the cautionary tale. You know, if you find a show that has a lot to it, you gotta break that shit up. Okay, now you got to make sure it's a show that you're going to be able to get back to, because I've watched the first season of Supernatural and still haven't gone back.
Yeah.
Right. So Supernatural took me a while to get going.
I think season 3 is when I really got involved, you know?
Yeah.
But Ryan said it was quality writing for its time. And yeah, Chris Carter, just brilliant with some of those story arcs.
Will never, yes.
He did is what my grandfather did to quit smoking, is they had him smoking when he didn't want to. And there's Jason watching X-Files when he doesn't want to.
That was a rough time, man.
Okay, let's get to number 9, Jason.
I feel like I got flashback to rehab.
Right? This is why I said I knew it would be traumatic.
My number 9, True Blood.
Oh, I was big time into that for about 3 seasons, and then I stopped again for no reason.
Cold turkey.
True, because I had yet to see, outside of Near Dark, I had not seen that representation of a vampire before.
Okay, 1 second.
They sold me just on the teaser trailer, which was the cold open of the first episode, with the Larry the Cable Guy looking vampire in the store.
See, I love the premise of that. I wish that a couple seasons in, they started getting very tweenish, you know, and soap opera-ish. And
yeah,
but I still watched it. I watched it all too.
Now, what that did lead me to, though, I read the entire book series up until I think they probably continued after. But I read books that went far beyond the show, but the show deviated from the books very early on. Like the Lafayette, the most popular character in the show, was a no-name, like a one-name character. He was a dead body.
That happens so much.
Book.
Daryl Dixon doesn't even exist in the comics.
Yep. So, but True Blood just blew me away at the adultness of it. First of all, was shocking because I hadn't really seen much like that, and it was a breath of fresh air because it added not in that way, just in a natural way. Like it, as stupid as it's going to sound, it brought a little more realism.
In the first seasons, yes, I'll back
you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it made you believe it more because it looked like it could be real.
Yeah.
You know? So, but yeah.
And the fact that True Blood was a drink for them out in the market, you know, that was awesome.
Play on the name.
Ryan said True Blood was fun, but fell off the last season. I gotta admit, I don't remember the last season.
It was a little weaker in that last season, but there were some cool moments. And of course, True Blood is of course where I fell instantly in love with Alexander Skarsgård. One of the most beautiful men on the planet. So
yep. That was the beginning right there for him.
It was love at first sight, honestly.
I think it was a vampire power he used.
I was so jealous of Suge.
But she had Bill.
Right. but she had Eric too, and whenever she was with
Why
Eric,
do I still
was
remember his
jealous.
name? My God, that's scary. James, what's your number 9?
My number 9, and this would be higher if it had more than one season. It's Firefly.
See, I should have put that on my list. I didn't because for some reason I just don't lump it into an actual show because of the way it was put out.
It's an honorable mention for me because of that same reason.
I changed it at the last minute to add this because I was looking up the years, and it's like, well, I didn't start watching it until after I had seen Serenity, but that would have been, and that was 2005. So I still caught this one before 2010.
Yeah. Oh, and that's the thing too. Let's say you watch True Blood right now. It's technically an early show, so it still counts.
Yes, but
yeah. And see, I watch it more than probably the first 5 on my list, so I should have it on my list. But
yeah,
and because of how it was put out.
And I bumped so now what I'd consider it an honorable mention. I bumped Heroes off the list in favor of Firefly because Firefly, the season 1 is solid. Heroes has probably one of the best first seasons of most shows out there. And the rest of the series is good, but it's a little bit inconsistent.
That shows you when you come out of the gate swinging, but you don't have a follow-up,
Yeah.
Because most shows made 1 or 2 seasons, so they planned an amazing story, and they went, "Oh shit, we got a season 2."
Yeah,
it's like okay.
Then, yeah, but for Firefly, it's just like I love the series premiere that was actually the series premiere, Serenity. Just when they first talk, the way Gina Torres first talks about the Reavers, it's just like if they take the ship, they will rape us to death, cut the skin for it, and sew it into their clothes, and blah, blah, blah. And if we're very, very lucky, they'll do that in that order.
Yeah.
It's just like, oh my God. But then you've also got Adelaide Nishka, who's an awesome villain. You have the former army buddy of theirs who comes back and he's like smuggling organs inside him and stuff, and the way the slow motion kind of funeral at the end of that, and just Yosaf Bridge, and it's they got so much good stuff in one season that they didn't even get to show all of.
Yeah, exactly, because of the way it was launched, which I hate. Because that is a brilliant little cast they put together. There's such chemistry. And then the stories, like James said, right on top of that, those stories were intense.
That's has to be considered one of the biggest mistakes a network has ever made.
Yeah, easily.
Oh, yeah.
Like that had, and some would argue it does, but that had the potential to rival Star Trek for property,
You have to, if you get the chance, look up Alan Tudyk Firefly cancellation, and he talks about it at a number of Comic-Cons where he was brought into I don't know if it was a pitch meeting or something with a female executive, and it's like, this is Alan. She's like, oh, I know Alan. Yes, Alan and I know each other very well. I canceled Firefly. I destroyed dreams. It is hysterical.
Alan said, Al Kapupik, he said, sorry, I got to run. Wrestling's coming on, and I've got to try and get a karaoke song done beforehand. Have a great night, folks. Well, we know what wrestling is, Al, so yeah, we can. I'm happy being number 2 there.
It's Monday Night Raw after the Elimination Chamber.
Yep.
Where they screwed over Sami Zayn in Montreal.
That's it for him.
No. That story ain't done yet.
Oh, no. Not in wrestling. No, never.
I'm actually watching, and that story ain't over yet.
Yeah.
It's one of the best storylines in wrestling.
Oh, good. I'm glad they're starting to getting some.
Yeah.
My number 9. This is a classic, and I love watching this guy because, as they say, this show could never be made today. All the Family. Archie Bunker is one of the coolest characters on TV because of his ignorance.
Yep.
I
and people, like, you're right, it can't be made today, but a lot of people don't give that show the credit that it deserves for what it was. It was actually breaking the boundaries.
Oh yeah.
And it introduced the Jeffersons.
Yep. It
So, like,
introduced Maud. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so many spin-offs from that show.
mhm. But it's because he was such a bigot and whatnot. Like
Yep.
they were making fun of it.
Yeah.
It was a complete parody.
And Carol O'Connor kept saying that's why he loved Archie, is because they could dive into so many stories that other people couldn't because of how Archie was.
Now did he do that before In the Heat of the Night?
Oh yeah, In Heat of the
Okay.
Night was after
Okay.
they were canceled.
All right. I didn't know where they fell.
Yep. But yes, that's my number 9.
Very
Number
cool.
8, Jason.
All right. My number 8, Doctor Who. Now I do have to preface this that this is from 2005 and on, because I do not remember enough of the 70s stuff. Like I remember Tom Baker a little bit, but I don't remember any of it. But I fell in love with the return of Doctor Who, starting with Christopher Eccleston all the way through. It is so much fun, completely unpredictable. Just when you think you know what's going to happen, no, it doesn't.
Another show.
Other than the Doctor will always come through.
Another show I've meaning to watch and never have.
It's so much fun, and we're getting a new Doctor. Jodie Whittaker's done, so but the weird thing is they went backwards.
Yeah, they brought somebody back, didn't they?
Yes, they did. They brought
David
back
Tennant?
David Tennant. So
Look at that. I don't even watch the show, and I know that's how big this show is.
It's it's the first time it's happened that they've regenerated, but it could just be like a one-off special thing. And then when
It is a one-off because they announced the new Doctor like months ago.
did they?
Oh, really?
Oh,
Yeah, it's a
right.
black British black actor.
That's right. So yeah, it's just for this crossover handoff thing.
Very nice. All right, James, what's your number 8?
My number 8, it's one of the few shows that I discovered on my own. And it was after the first, maybe season or 2 had come out that I watched it. And it was How I Met Your Mother.
Ah, yes.
My kids went on and on about that. I've watched a handful of bits. I don't quite get it. It doesn't quite work for me.
And fair enough. I was hooked from the first episode. I think just the first episode.
I couldn't see who it was in the door because they're wearing dark clothes. I could just see their hand. So it was literally like a ghost opening the door for your dog.
He has got a paranormal thing going on, okay? That's what's going on. But yeah, I love some of the comedy. I've never watched the whole series. I've seen a lot of episodes.
I've seen a few funny things, but when I try,
it has a good story through line. Plus, they have, and they're not the only show to do this, where they have jokes that pay off a season or 2 later.
Yeah,
and they'll show a clip, and you hear Danny Tanner, Bob Saget, who narrates the series, and you'll hear him say like, "Oh wait, that doesn't happen for a little while. Oh, this story's not even close to being done." And you find out like a season and a half later where that scene takes place, and then
yeah, like I know it wasn't, but that one really feels like all the seasons were scripted out ahead of time to know where it was going to go. I know it wasn't.
Yeah, it's like 9 seasons, and I believe the same person directed all but one of them.
Dang!
Wow!
All but one of all the episodes.
That's
so they had the same crew from beginning to end.
Wow, impressive!
And just Jason Segel, you got Allison Hannigan, Neil NPH.
Mm-hmm. Like the cast was great.
Yeah,
I saw a lot. I've seen a lot of funny Barney. Maybe it could.
Colby Smulders is on there.
Give it a
good
watch.
Playing an
Maybe
amazing
I'll
Canadian.
Myself, but
you just played that card on yourself.
I kind of did.
Wow.
Maybe.
I think that's a first for the show.
I don't know. Because I don't know if I want to go through that. But
how many seasons? 9? You can X-Files it.
There's another show that's probably going to come up on somebody's list.
How I Met Your Father?
That I might might offend if we talk about it. So,
really?
Yeah, we'll see how this goes.
Now I'm interested. Oh, look, Dr. Steele's here. Sup?
Hey.
All right, my number 8
Yes.
introduces one of the best actors, I think. But this thing lasted 11 seasons.
I don't remember Harrison Ford on a TV show.
He's on Shrinking now. But no, this introduced us to none other than Woody Harrelson. Cheers.
Good pick.
I love that show.
I've been watching a lot of reruns. They're on CMT now, and yeah,
This
it's
is-
been a long time.
This is what I
But
mean. All in the
old time.
Family, Cheers, stuff like that. They had to write good. So their comedy was tight.
Oh yes, it was.
You know, they
Mhm.
did the same thing where they would have skits come up and it would pay off like 4 or 5 episodes away, you know, and things like that.
Sometimes. Yep.
But man, that
Well,
whole cast.
It's the Sam and Diane, will they, won't they?
Yep.
That on again, off again. It's one of the quintessential on again, off agains.
And then even when Kirstie Alley came in,
Same.
they
thing,
still had
yep.
that thing, but they kept throwing back to Diane, which I always thought was hilarious.
Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah.
And they of course got the spinoff with Frasier.
Yep.
Which is now getting a reboot
Yep.
in Boston.
Yep.
So we could get a Cheers crossing. Like,
It's no, it's not supposed to be in Boston.
yes, it is.
Is it back in Boston?
I'm pretty sure it's in Boston
Because when I saw the interview with Kelsey Grammer, he was talking about now being in 3 different cities. Because this is the end of a trilogy kind of thing.
I could have swore I thought it was in Boston.
I'm not going to say
maybe
no,
not.
because maybe that's why he's tying it up, is back in Boston.
Oh,
But he just said 3 different cities. We'll look into that.
okay.
The point is, he's coming back.
Yeah.
And Frasier is one of the cool characters that just, same with Lilith.
Nope.
You know, all
Mhm.
these side characters that you expect to be on an episode or 2, and they just stick.
Nick, Rhea Perlman's husband.
Oh, yeah.
Like
From Addams Family.
yes,
Yes. Yep. The hairiest man I know.
yeah.
Yep. Yeah, there's so many. You can look back at that show and go, "Oh, I love the one with," or "I love that episode." Yeah,
Mhm.
no.
And it was so sad when they lost Coach.
Yes.
Like, Coach was such a sweet character on that show.
Yep. Yeah. And it's neat how they pay tribute to him too, because they put Tecumseh up behind the bar, and that was the picture that Ernie had in his dressing room
Okay,
the entire time he was there.
all right.
So I
don't
thought
think
that
I
was
knew that.
cool. Frasier was arguably the best spinoff of all time. I like the dry humor more. Ryan, very good point. Although I would have to disagree, and I think the biggest spinoff of all time is NCIS, only because 20 seasons later it's still going.
Well, there's something for longevity, as we've already established.
Yep. But that's
but there's something about Frasier, because Chris
Frasier's
and I never
awesome.
watched it back in the day, but that's like a go-to for us to put on when we're out in bed, you know, just chilling, getting ready to go to sleep.
Do you know what's awesome? Is 2 of the main characters from Frasier were in Cheers. His dad played a character in Cheers, and Roz played a character in Cheers.
I think I did see his dad on the show. Yes.
Yeah, he was a jingle guy. He was trying to write a jingle for Cheers
Yeah, I
with
think
Kirstie Alley.
I saw that
Yep.
episode.
So it's neat how even that crossover is there. Okay, number 7, Jason.
This is bound to be on at least your list. Anarchy.
Yeah, where is it here? That's my number 1.
Okay. It's
That one I
like,
rewatch.
I never finished it.
it's it
Not because I didn't like it.
wow, like they make shows like this. Sons of Anarchy just took a like good story, like
Yeah.
and the acting, it was so deliberate, but it was again so gritty, and then I can just go on about the characters. I just love Sons of Anarchy. Just enough said.
What about the spin-off of that?
I have
Mayans.
not watched.
Mayans is good. It's a different feel, obviously, because it's a different club in a different area, but it is still really good. And it's a lot of fun because people come back.
Yeah.
Chibs has been in there. What is this here? Ryan said, Sons is with Dexter. Amazing first half, disappointed with the last couple. Oh, nope. Sorry. I lost that sentence. I wish I could remember what he said.
It's weird. That was a weird.
That is
glitch, yeah.
so weird. Chips has come back, right? Happy's in there. And in this last season, season 4, in the finale, they had Tig. Oh, yeah. And I actually got to watch a podcast with Theo and Kim Coates.
Oh.
And he was talking about putting the cut back on and getting back into Tig's role. And
Oh, You're selling it hard, man.
Oh, it's good. So good.
Damn.
The first season has a lot. Like I think Chibs is in 2 or 3 episodes. Happy's in quite a few. Oh, my God, what's his name? Some guy.
Really?
Chucky?
Chucky?
Yeah, Chucky's in the whole first season. They won him. They won him in a poker game somehow.
Well, that's what happens to Chucky.
That's literally the only excuse you get for him being in this club is, oh, we won him in a poker game.
I acknowledge that.
Yep. Yeah. Very, very good pick. All right, James. Let's see you top that one. Number 7.
That's not
Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, he pretty much that's. Oh, yeah. That's my number 3.
Nope.
What do you mean?
That show was so intense. It started it waned a little in season 2 and then came back strong. Just even when you get to the last few episodes of the entire series, when they start laying down exactly what happened and how it happened, you're just mind blown by like what went on, where the Cylons are actually from, and who made them, and
it was neat to see how they took that 70s camp show, because that's kind of what it was.
Yeah,
and made it into a real military style show. And then, like James says, then they get the story on top of that. So now it's got even a more authentic feel, because you're seeing real military in the future, or the past, depending on how you look at it.
yeah.
And the Edward James Olmos, Katie Sackhoff, Jamie Barber,
And
this already.
the
1.5 seasons in, I can't get back to it because it was just depressed me. It depressed me.
It's
so bad.
It is a depressing show.
I
think
can't do it.
Literally every episode you're watching the number of people go down.
Exactly.
Okay. So I get it.
Except for that one episode
where they had a baby.
It went up one.
Yep.
and one of my favorite Canadian actors, Callum Keith Rennie.
Yeah. What's his name?
Leoben.
Yes.
I know the name. I should.
Oh, you would know him to see him. Absolutely.
I should know him.
Ryan says here, S.H.I.E.L.D. is my number 3, and I love that they used all the actors. Well, yeah, because that's where Kurt Sutter got his start. Too bad Chickless was only available at the end. Well, I thought that was a neat little twist where they had Chickless driving the truck, because I'm thinking, is that Kurt Sutter's way of saying, I think S.H.I.E.L.D. is better than Sons?
Oh.
Just throwing that out there.
I never watched S.H.I.E.L.D.
I got like 4 seasons in, and I meant to go back. I just haven't, but it was good. But yeah, like Walton Goggins is in there. A lot of people that you see in Sons were pulled from S.H.I.E.L.D.
Okay.
Yeah. But yeah, Battlestar, dead on. Good pick. That, like I said, that was my number 3.
Nice.
Let's see, what's my number 7? My number 7 is what they consider the best sitcom on television. It had the highest rating on television, I think, to date for its finale.
Oh, okay.
MASH.
Well,
I watched the original movie because I'm thinking, how can you take like the Korean conflict and make a comedy? And it was a blast. And then I found out there was a TV show based on it. Like my grandfather has told me, and started just binging into that. And it's like I watched it even right up until the last episode. I was one of the people watching the finale.
I know I did too. I watched it a lot as a kid, but with the serious stuff, I tuned out, But I do look back on it very fondly. I do remember when Klinger ate the Jeep.
Yep.
And because this also has been brought up on other like YouTube channels and stuff, but the episode with Hawkeye telling the story about being quiet on the bus.
That's the first part of the finale.
The chicken.
Yep.
She's got to shut that chicken up.
Yep.
Like some of the most amazing television ever.
And see, okay, Ryan says MASH is my number 1. Make time for reruns. Best drama pre-2000. That was the thing. Even All in the Family and things like that. Cheers has had a couple too. When they had those serious moments, it seemed to hit a little harder to me than a serious movie because it's a light show.
Exactly. that's why they would do it.
Yeah.
It would come out of nowhere and just it really jar you because you're expecting to laugh watching this show.
Yep.
And why is Edith getting threatened with rape?
Yep. Or when she died. You know, like there's so many of those shows that they just bam. But yet in that episode, you laughed your ass off.
Mhm.
You know, it's just Okay, number 6. Wait a minute, get to the banner, change the banner. Okay, 6.
Number 6.
Yes, Jason.
Andromeda.
Really?
Yes. Now I didn't even watch it when it first aired. I discovered it in the weirdest way on some random cable channel mystery TV. Yeah.
I didn't know that
it
was a
doesn't even
channel.
exist anymore, but it did back then. And I would watch it every morning before I left for work. So I'd be watching it like 6 a.m. and then I'd leave for work. And it just got me because it was so much fun. It was, Hercules in space. Now the show takes a dramatic shift in tone after the first season. And some people argue with it and against it, different creative direction, all that. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. You know, you could see Gene Roddenberry all over it because you could see the similarities with Star Trek a little bit, but it had different premises.
Literally, almost every space show is the same.
Well, yeah, there's only so much you can do, right?
Exactly.
But some of the interesting differences, like the Nietzschean race, I thought is like a fascinating race. They're superior. They're based on the teachings of Nietzsche, the supreme beings. So they believe themselves to be genetically superior to everybody else.
Interesting.
But their their societal structure is that of lion prides.
Interesting.
They call their groups prides.
And see, that's one show I've never watched. Andromeda. James?
No, I'm aware of it, but no, I never watched it.
Yeah, I've seen clips and things like that, but I've never actually watched it.
I think it was around the same time as Cleopatra 2525 or something.
Yeah, it's in that era.
Babylon 5 was in that time period too.
It's definitely in that era, that late 90s, early 2000s.
Alien Nation, the TV show.
I watched that show, yeah, at least some of it.
Movie was better.
Good pick.
But yeah, Andromeda, yeah, it stuck with me. It's a really fun sci-fi show, and there's not a lot of really good sci-fi shows on TV.
That's very sadly true. Yeah. All right, James, number 6.
Okay, my number 6 ran for 10 seasons. It's one of the best sitcoms ever. I missed the first episode and then never missed another episode for the remainder of the 10 seasons, and it's Friends.
Oh, okay.
Nowhere near my list. I don't get it, and it's because my wife is starting to watch it. And
it's so good.
I have to confess, it's a guilty pleasure of mine.
I know you've mentioned it.
Okay, because Christina loves the show. You know, one of her Christmas presents every year is a Friends calendar, just because that's it. We actually went out and bought Friends Clue. All right, and it's got stuff from the show in it.
Nice.
You have to figure out who's the person that, had the turkey on their head or stuff like that. Like, it's actual stuff from the show. It's a cult following with these 6 people.
In every episode, at least one of them should be in jail.
No, that's Seinfeld.
Yeah.
Friends too. If not in jail, why are they friends? Because they've done some deplorable shit to each other.
That's why they're friends.
Like, I don't get it at all. The jokes aren't funny to me at all.
Obviously not the demographic they're shooting for.
Everyone around me seems to like this show, but I just don't get it.
The one thing that I think would be totally amazing when they were originally pitching the show, that the Rembrandts, the song "I'll Be There For You" was not what they had in mind for the theme. It was REM, "Shiny Happy People." And it's like, I don't think that show would have taken off with that theme song.
No, that would not have helped. No.
It's kind of how I feel about the
I do the clapping.
post.
No.
It's kind of how I feel about the everything past season 3 of Big Bang Theory, because as soon as what's her name, Mayim Bialik, the Amy Farrah Fowler showed up on the show, ruined it. I hate every single second she's on screen, and I could no longer watch the show.
Really?
We are going to back to that.
Okay. In that case,
So I could never finish it as long as she's on the show, unless you digitally edit her out and mute all her lines. I couldn't watch it. She's just awful on the show.
it's 2023, buddy. That's so possible. That's good pick though, James. Very good pick. My number 6 went for, was it 8 seasons, and then apparently bombed, so it came back for a 9th. And I have not watched the 9th season, but according to people, didn't do much better to finalize it. But this man is just brilliant. Dexter. Dexter.
I only saw the first season, which was great.
Yep.
But
I like the show a lot. The finale, no, I did not watch that revival season.
New Blood, I haven't seen that yet.
I haven't watched it.
Dexter, it's a very interesting character because you watch these seasons like Friends, like Supernatural, like that, where the seasons will have their ups and their downs. Dexter is consistent across the board. It's not amazing, but it is definitely good.
It just holds you.
And
you just want to see what happens next.
I've always heard great things about John Lithgow as the Trinity Killer.
Definitely one of the highlights. Definitely.
Yes. Absolutely. It's so cool to see John Lithgow in that kind of role.
That's what I like, because it took me back. We talked about it on this show.
Yeah. Blossom was your number 1.
I really do. I want to say you got to know. I love the fact that I can say we talked about it on this show way back when.
Yep.
But because it reminded me of the movie that John Lithgow did, Raising Cain.
Yes. Oh, now I always heard about that.
Took me back to that level of John Lithgow, and he was so good on
even Ryan said the revival is good. New Blood. That's what I've heard, and that they kind of fumbled it on the last episode. But again, I've not personally watched it yet.
That's their track record, though.
Yeah. Well, how do you end a series with a guy who is a serial killer? Like literally, that's got to be so hard to write for.
Well, yeah, but having him go off into a storm where he's probably going to die, that would have been fine. But the fact that we might want to bring him back, so let's have him up in a logging camp. Nah, that's where they lose.
Okay, fair enough. I get that. Yeah,
they did the end? Question mark.
It is the end, unless we don't want it to be. Number 5, Jason.
My number 5 is Roseanne. Politics and people aside, the show Roseanne, come on, it's groundbreaking for its day because it was our families on TV.
Literally,
we felt for them. We understood their financial woes and all that. Like they were our family, and they were what wasn't there to love.
I gotta agree with you on that. Like watching Roseanne, it felt like you're just watching the neighbors.
Yeah,
exactly. I had some neighbors like that.
I've had many,
but that's the fun of it. Is it was so normal.
Exactly. Yep.
And John Goodman, man.
Yeah, he was. That's when he became America's dad forever. At that point, and and we still get to enjoy him to this day. The man is just a treasure.
What's this here? Ryan said John Goodman was my fave TV actor from that. Yeah.
Oh, definitely.
That's what made him John Goodman.
Yep.
In quotes.
Mm-hmm. I know he had done a few movies at that point. Revenge of the Nerds was the first thing I ever saw him in.
Yeah.
But I always forget that was him.
Yeah. It was every actor has that movie where you suddenly now recognize their face.
It wasn't until like years into Roseanne when I went back and watched Revenge of the Nerds again, and I'm like, oh my God, that's John Goodman. That I'm like, I used to hate him so much.
And apparently, I've only seen brief clips of it. The guy who originally played Booker is George Clooney.
Oh, on Roseanne, yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely knew
Like,
that.
This is okay, and this is the other fun part I have with these shows, like Night Court, Roseanne is like, you look back at the actors that were on there before they were who they are. Like literally, I just watched an episode from season 2 of Quantum Leap, and Jason Priestley's in it. You know, this is pre 90210,
Mm,
and it's like it's so much fun to see actors like that,
yep.
especially like George Clooney. All right, James, number 5.
Okay, my number 5. Did you guys ever watch The Practice?
No.
No,
That lawyer show? I never.
Your shows.
No, I can, but I never watched this one, and it was coming up on its last season. It just finished the 7 seasons. They come up for the 8th season, and it's like, and introducing James Spader. And it's like, well, I like James Spader. I liked him in Crash. I thought he was great in Wolf, in Pretty in Pink.
Awesome.
Great actor. And then like, so I watch it, and it's just like, holy shit. And this is prior to the Blacklist, obviously. It's like Alan Shore is one of the greatest characters on television. And then you add on to that towards the end of it, you get William Shatner playing an equally great character in Denny Crane. And so like that whole last season of The Practice, which closed out that show, led into Boston Legal, which took Alan Shore and Denny Crane over to their own show. And it's goofy. It's a little less serious, but it's just gold between those two. The entire, what was it, 5 seasons? I think.
I remember it being around, but I didn't watch any of the lawyer shows.
And you had Candice Bergen on there. You had John Larroquette. You had Odo from Deep Space Nine. I can't remember his name.
Renee.
What's that?
Auberjonois.
Oh, it might have been this. I turned it.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, Renee Auberjonois.
Auberjonois. I think
That's what I was going to say next.
Yeah. Yeah, it was great.
I got to admit, I remember seeing commercials and stuff, and it's one of those things. Again, I should check that out. And squirrel.
And I thought, like, well, how could he ever have another character that could, I don't know, I don't necessarily mean top, but match Alan Shore, and then he gets Red Reddington.
No, Ryan even says, my wife is binging Blacklist. Spader is amazing.
Yes.
I hear such good things, but I don't know if I'll ever get to it.
Well, there's just so much now. That's just it.
Especially network shows, like network. That's 20 episodes a season.
22 minimum.
Yeah.
Except on this writer strikes. Now, my number 5 is going to get us back to quality.
Okay.
It's The Sopranos.
Oh.
I can't say that for Boston Legal. I don't know, but The Sopranos are one of the ones that showed that TV shows could be serious.
Again, I never watched.
I've just seen the first episode.
Absolutely, I understand it. I get it.
Oh, wow.
I know I would watch. I would like it if I watched it. I know that.
It's like Sons. It's how do you write criminals so that they are sympathetic, you know? And yeah, like I think it's the 4th episode I love called College, where he's taking his daughter to go to see colleges that he's going to send her to. And while he's there, he sees a rat that's in witness protection and has to drop her off, go and kill him, and then come back.
Huh.
You know, like this is the quality of these shows. Like it's just insane.
Wow.
Yep. And the way they ended the series, I still adore. Because this was back when satellite pirating was all the thing. I may or may not have been doing it myself. And we kept hearing how they were going to scramble the dishes because the Sopranos finale was on. And we're watching it. And there's about an 8-minute segment where they're sitting in a restaurant. It starts out with Tony and his wife and Anthony Jr. And they're eating French fries, ordering it. They put on Don't Stop Believin' by Journey. Right. And it's playing over the whole thing. Outside Meadow, the daughter is coming in and she's trying to park, but can't quite. And cars drive by and it feels off. And you're thinking somebody's getting shot because it's the Sopranos. Right. And after about 2 minutes of that, she gets out and she comes in and say, okay, and everything's good. And then all of a sudden it gets to one point and the screen goes black. And it is like a good 20 to 30 seconds of black. And then the credits start to roll. And I thought, oh, they scrambled the dish. We're never going to see the end now. No, that's legit how they ended it.
They wanted everybody to think that.
Yeah, and now there's two huge theories. Is at the end of this, I guess there's a guy coming out of the bathroom behind Tony right at the end. They're saying Tony gets shot, and that's the end of his life.
Yeah.
But David Chase has come out and said no, because even in that episode, they're talking about the trial that's coming up. They're talking about other people that are kind of infiltrating. He goes, Tony's life just continues.
No, he confirmed that he dies.
David Chase?
Yeah.
Not the interview I read.
Oh yeah. I've seen a couple where he confirmed because he wanted to shoot it. He had another idea for it, but he still gets killed.
Oh yeah. No, I read about that article where that was a thought. But then they went with this one where like Tony's life just continues. It's just the show that ends. So literally they just stop rolling.
Yep, and George Lucas only always had 9 chapters written.
Exactly. Ryan Haskell says HBO unmatched in that era. Sopranos, Deadwood, Oz, 6 Feet Under, The Wire. Yeah.
I didn't watch any of those shows, but
Oh my God.
all the hype on all of them.
Oh,
Hype on all of
you
them.
gotta watch The Wire. You gotta watch Deadwood.
I didn't have access to that channel back in that at that
You
time. So,
gotta watch Deadwood.
but you've always said that.
Especially the movie.
Oh, it's
I'm
good.
not watching the movie until I watch the show, and
It's only 3 seasons, and I think, what is it, 16 episodes a season? Like, it's not long.
No, it's like 10 episodes a season.
10? Okay. I knew it wasn't long. It was more than the 6 and the 8 we're seeing now, but
Yeah.
all right. Number 4, because it's been an hour and we're only on number 4.
I'll stop chattering so much.
No, you're good.
My number 4 is Breaking Bad. One of probably the greatest story written for television you'll ever see. That arc is unmatched. The characters will live on in infamy. Cranston's performance should always be considered one of the greats of all time.
See,
Go
ahead, James.
I was going to say, if it hadn't taken me 3 times to get through the 6-episode first season, I might have it somewhere near this list. It is a good show, but that first season is a drag.
Well, and see, with me, I'm with Jason. I love this show. Like the first season's rocky, but every first season is, I think,
Yes. Oh yeah.
I have never rewatched it.
I haven't either, but I don't need to. Like I could, I know I could, and I think I might have I found an episode or 2 or something, but I don't need to because I can think back on that story. I know what it left with me.
Yeah.
I can remember key moments. It's there. It's in here. It's in here.
But this list is on there. Like, I watch it a lot.
I will say, though, El Camino Breaking Bad movie is in my top 20 favorite movies of all time. That movie is so outstanding.
Which one?
The
El Camino Breaking Bad movie.
Not watch that. And
Neither have
I have not watched Better Call Saul either, like Ryan says. I agree, Jason. Never seen a show get better each season. Better Call Saul.
I haven't seen Better Call Saul either.
I watched the first season of Better Call Saul, and I never went back because I watched it right when it aired. I feel like I should get back to it because it's still going. It's just ending, right?
Yeah.
You gotta watch El Camino.
Aaron Paul, Jesse.
Yeah.
God, imagine the trauma that guy's gone through.
I haven't watched the Super Bowl commercials, but I know they did a Breaking Bad thing with pop chips, and they had a Breaking Bad Super Bowl commercial.
I heard that. I haven't watched it either. All right, James, what's your number 4?
My number 4, another show I discovered all on my own just because I saw it. I kept walking by it in Walmart the first season that had come out. It's Burn Notice. So Jeffrey Donovan as a CIA agent who gets kicked out of the CIA and wants to know why. And he's dumped in Miami. He's not allowed to leave. He's getting tailed by FBI agents. And he does odd jobs, making money with his best friend, Sam Axe, played by Bruce Campbell.
I remember seeing ads for it all the time because it was on Spike TV, I think.
It's so much fun. It was on USA. It was such a fun show.
Like Monday Night Raw or something.
Such a fun show. And if you don't like voiceovers where someone's narrating the whole time, you will hate it because Jeffrey Donovan narrates constantly throughout every episode. But it's what the show is about. But and you have occasional, like, oh, I know that, like all the cameos and stuff like that. Oh, I know that person. I know that person. They're in there for one episode. You got Xena in there for, I think she's in there 2 episodes. Not as Xena, obviously, but Lucy Lucy
Right.
Lawless.
Oh, so when they did Ash versus Evil Dead, that was not the first time they'd worked together.
That's
No.
true.
Aha.
Yeah, I've heard of that show. I have. That's
But there is even a great episode where there's a character who's sort of a little bit on the schizophrenic edge. He's a conspiracy theorist and discovers all on his own that Jeffrey Dahmer's character, Michael Weston, that he's a spy. And the actor they got to play this guy was the actor whose name is Michael Weston,
interesting,
which I thought was an interesting little inside joke.
right? Okay. And that was one of those things I'd heard of, but never heard anything about. Like I
Yeah.
literally didn't know it was about a CIA agent or anything. I knew of the show.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, my number 4, it's actually just got revived again. Sadly, it's not quite as good as the original, but again, this was back when writing was tight, and it's Night Court. The humor in Night Court cannot be rivaled, as far as I'm concerned. That's your number 1? Yeah.
Wow.
Night Court is the shit. I mean, literally, Dan Fielding.
I've only watched the first 2 episodes of the reboot, but I will be watching the rest. I just haven't gotten back to it.
It's not bad.
I love it. I love those first 2 episodes because it was the show. It was made to look and sound and feel like the original show. It is an 80s sitcom from start to finish.
But it doesn't have the punch Night Court had. You know, like the Dan Fielding is neutered.
He has to be.
Well, no, not this is what I'm trying to say. Like it's not the same.
I was liking what they did with those first 2 episodes. I do need to get back to it. But the original, now I can't go back to it because it doesn't exist anywhere very easily. It's not on streaming anywhere.
Yeah.
It's not on, you can't find DVDs very easy of it. It's very hard to find, but I do have access to the first season and I've rewatched it multiple times. I think it's the 5th episode is some of the best writing you'll ever see on a sitcom.
Well, this show introduced us to an amazing actor in season 3.
In season 3?
Yeah. Brent Spiner.
Yes.
The Wheelers.
No, that wasn't in season 3. That was earlier, wasn't it?
It might have been season 2, but it was either 2 or 3.
But yes, Brent Spiner.
Yeah.
But yeah, Night Court is so good. It's so fun. And yeah, John Larroquette's Dan Fielding. He won the Emmy multiple years for that role. He was just such a lecherous slime ball, and you loved him for it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, it's weird seeing Dan that's not Dan, but you understand why, because Dan would get canceled so fast.
I was worried about this remake, but they sold me when I saw the commercial for it before it aired. They sold me in the last 3 seconds.
Yeah.
Like I was kind of into it with what I saw, but just before it cuts out is when I think she asked him to come back, and he does his yelp.
Oh yes.
That high pitched thing. That is a distinctive noise that it is ingrained in here because I loved Night Court back in the day.
And I will say the last episode I was watching, it was I think episode 5. The Melissa Rauch plays Harry Stone's daughter, right? And she and the bailiff bring kids in to work with the people there.
Mm-hmm.
And so Dan is there, and they go, oh yeah, he's not coming back though. Ryan says Bull is one of the top 10 characters for me. Yes. And see, that's one I want them to pick up on, because literally the final episode, he went to space. So I need to know what happened to Bull. But they come in and Dan's like, no, I don't partake in this because I don't want little people following me around, And the guy comes over, oh, it's amazing, it'd be honored to work with you. You're such a reputation, blah, blah, blah. This one will do finally. And he stands up, hands him his newspaper. He goes, don't make eye contact, 2 steps behind. And he walks away. The kid follows him. It's like, that feels like Dan.
That was Dan.
Yeah.
Remember, he had that hobo.
Phil. Yep.
Phil doesn't come until much later. But yeah, Night Court is one of the best sitcoms ever. Like, just hands down. And Bull Shannon is one of the most fascinating characters you'll ever see on television.
Oh, big time.
And in that first season, I think it's the 5th episode. That's the episode where he tries to quit and
take care of a baby. Yeah.
And Selma gets mad at him. Like, their relationship was so good.
See, that was another show like Coach, when Coach passed away, where they were hit hard because Selma was it season 2 she died?
Selma died I think after season 1. Actually,
yeah. Well, she's in season 2. I just don't know how long.
Right. Yeah, it's halfway through season 2.
And then Florence, somebody came in to replace her because she's almost identical. She's the old craggly woman, with the raspy voice.
Yep.
And then she passed away.
Yep.
And that's why they went with Roz, somebody much younger. It's like nobody's dying on this set anymore.
Yep.
But yeah, that was brilliant. Okay, we went off on a huge tangent.
You
about
got my
Night
number
Court.
1 out of there. So
Yes. Okay. Number 3. Holy crap. An hour and 10 minutes. We're on number 3. Jason, what you got?
The Office.
The Office.
Which one?
The original.
Oh, okay.
The original. No, the U.S. Like the U.S. Yeah, sorry. The U.S.
I was gonna say, that's not the original.
No, the U.S. because it started before 2010.
Yep.
And I didn't watch it until much later. I will admit that. But wow, that show just sucked me in. And now it's one of those shows that I know when it's on CMT and stuff, and I'll put it on as white noise when I'm doing busy work and stuff. I can always just go back to it. I rewatch Jim pranks on YouTube all the time. Yeah,
there's so many memes from that show too, like literally.
Mm-hmm.
You got Rainn Wilson or you got John Krasinski and all these little memes. My favorite is Steve Carell with no, God, no. That's. I love shows like that.
I like Prison Mike though.
Prison Mike. All right then,
Yeah.
James, what's your number 3?
I did see the first season of The Office, and then I couldn't find the second season, and it's just I never went back to it.
I think that happens with a lot of shows, especially back in the day when these were on. If you missed a few, it's like
Mm-hmm.
Now, no excuse, like literally somewhere.
Except Night Court.
I think you might see a resurge since the reboot. So,
okay, my number 3. My number 3. I went with what?
Yeah, it doesn't exist on Peacock, but it's an NBC show, but it's not on there. Oh. You think they for sure would have it? Like I'm on Paramount Plus, I can watch Love Boat for Pete's sake. Right?
Sorry, James.
No, that's okay. My number 3 is, in my opinion, one of the better spin-offs out there. It is Angel.
I only ever watched the first season. Once Dylan or Doyle died.
Same.
That was it for me.
Exactly.
Doyle was a good character, but my buddy Bevan thought he was a good character, but it wasn't anything that I hinged the show on. Because I always liked Lindsay, I liked Lila, Holland Mary. I liked the people they cast for the bad guys at Wolfram and Hart. And
that's true.
You got to watch the last season of Angel, because after Buffy ended, Spike went over to Angel, and they had the promo poster for Angel saying like, just what LA needs, a little bit of Sunnydale, and it had like Spike's face in the background. Spike and Angel for the last season of Angel is some of the funniest shit you're going to see on TV.
Okay.
Especially the episode that Angel turns into a puppet. Oh yeah, it's called Smile Time or something. It's one of the funniest episodes of any TV.
After Scooby Natural, I will watch anything like that. Okay, absolutely.
I dropped out after Doyle died, but I did see the episode where because she had taken on his power, the power was killing her. So an angel showed up to show her what would happen if she didn't take the power. and like Angel went crazy.
Oh yeah, I think his name was Cliff or something.
I can't remember his name or anything, but in the end of it, she wakes up and she's fine now because she's accepted this power or whatever, and she's going on telling Angel, "Oh, you got to go here, the power's working." And she goes, "Are you sure you're okay?" And she goes, "Yeah." And she goes, "Because you're not touching the floor." And she was floating off the ground.
That's a sign.
I remember that, and then I saw one awesome, really cool scene that looked really amazing: the birth of Angel's kid. His sire,
Connor.
His vampire chick who was pregnant with his child.
Oh, Darla. When she somehow gets pregnant because she's
but she couldn't give birth.
Well, she does the whole thing like it's the one thing we did, blah blah. One good thing we did.
Vampires are giving birth. What the hell? What?
She got
resurrected. Hey, what? You didn't see the Twilight movies? That happens.
Oh, she was dead. Okay, here's what, as I recall, because I remember this much of the story. She was dead, but somebody used like magic or whatever, brought her back. But when they brought her back, she was human again.
Well, yeah, and she was a prostitute originally, so she was starting to die from syphilis.
So how can Angel have a baby?
He had, I think, a ring that made him human. I think it was a ring. And
no.
Anyway, she whatever. Well, for whatever reason, he knocked her up, and then she got turned back into a vampire. But she's pregnant. They're being hunted by a vampire hunter, being chased. She's getting emotional. Vampires don't have emotion. She's getting emotional.
She's pregnant.
She's getting emotional from the baby, the baby's emotions. But she was a vampire. Her body wouldn't let the baby come out, so she staked herself, and the baby lands in Angel's arms. It was a really cool scene.
Really good catch.
It was a really cool moment. A really cool scene. I dug it a lot. But I didn't watch anything like anything.
No.
Scenes.
God, no. No. Need Steve Carell.
Okay, Mike. I get it.
Vampires are dead. Dead things don't get pregnant or give birth.
But she was dead. She wasn't.
Okay.
And then she
the dead
again.
Dude doesn't have it's got dead stuff in his dick. Okay, like dead. Everything's dead.
All you got to do is say there's a prophecy that has to be fulfilled, and that's the plot armor you have.
Dead.
That's what it was. Actually, it was a prophecy because
dead.
It was the yes.
Yeah.
Dead. My favorite movie, Near Dark, has a stupid ending because a blood transfusion fixes a vampire that's dead. No. Okay. Rant over.
Okay, moving on.
My number 3 is Battlestar Galactica. Let's go to 2.
James, you said some harsh words about my number 2. Oh.
Bang.
Thank you. Big Bang Theory. I absolutely love that show. I adore that show. It is on my TV every single day. I watch the rerun over.
It would be just too much effort to mute every time she's on and then unmute and then
I'm getting canceled in the Necro crowd.
But her character is one of the many. One of the many. Amy Farrah Fowler's character has one of the best like character development arcs in that show.
Does she talk the same throughout the entire thing? Because that's part of the.
Oh, she loosens up and becomes a lot more sociable.
Which in turn, near the end, actually lets Sheldon.
He in his way he does too. He still steps behind, but she evolves dramatically.
Yep,
it's fascinating, her arc.
I get what you're saying, because literally it feels like jumping the shark where you bring in another person just like their main person to, boost ratings.
The funny thing is, a couple seasons before the episode where Raj and Howard put Sheldon on that profile that found her, they mentioned about the kind of person that they could see with him, and they mentioned Maya Bialik because she's really smart. They said the guy who plays awesome. I hear she's a scientist.
Mm-hmm.
They referenced her on the show a couple seasons before they brought her on the show.
See, that's brilliant writing.
See, How I Met Your Mother did it better with Winnie from Wonder Years, because she is actually smart, really smart in real life.
Yeah, but Big Bang Theory didn't have to dangle different carrots as to who the mother actually was multiple times to keep people watching.
No, but they cast good people.
Pull an audible right in the last episode.
Exactly.
Well, no, Mayim
Mayim.
Balak, she actually has a PhD.
PhD in neuroscience.
Yep. Like she is legit.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I know.
He has a PhD.
I know. The character still sucks.
PhD does not save the character.
But Big Bang Theory. It's our people making jokes and references about stuff that we love.
I think that's the part I love about it is the pop culture feel of that show because they're constantly referencing. They hang out in a comic store. You get James Earl Jones and Carrie Fisher in an episode, right? They never met before until that episode. Literally, they never even filmed together.
Wow.
Yeah, until that episode.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
And you have Sheldon giving a hug because he gets Leonard Nimoy DNA. Right? This is cool writing, I think.
This was jokes that we could laugh about. All the other sitcoms, there was always sports jokes and nerd shit.
Yeah.
Nerd jokes. Hell yeah.
All right then, James, what's your number 2?
My number 2, which was my favorite show for the longest time, it's what Angel was spin-off of. It's Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And pretty much everything we said about Angel, you can say about Buffy, just more so.
There's that hand again.
Yep. I saw the ghost again. Gone now.
But yeah, Buffy made leaps and bounds because it took the movie and just warped it and made it its own, which I think is brilliant when it comes to movie adaptations.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah. And the first time I watched it, it was in, I don't remember what season it was. I flipped by it. I'm like, because I had seen the movie in the theater and I saw the show and it's just like, those aren't vampires. Click. And didn't go back to it until it was the finale of season 5 because I was in res and a bunch of girls were watching it in the lounge, and I watched it with them, knowing very little about what was going on. Sort of like how I got back into Walking Dead and loved the episode. And so that summer they were playing from beginning, season 1, episode 1 on Space. I think it was every one episode every night the entire summer until season 6 started. And I had my VCR set up to tape it every day.
Nice.
I loved the show, but I stopped watching it when the mysterious sister showed up, and that whole the angel, I think her name was Glory.
Oh, that's season 5. That's one of the best. Well, it's where it got really good.
I stopped watching it that season. I never went back.
Oh,
I did love that show, obviously, because I named my kid Xander because of that show.
And he got even better.
See,
And plus you get when Firefly got canceled, Joss Whedon gave those cast members work. Daniel Baldwin went to Angel. Nathan Fillion went to Buffy. Gina Torres went to Angel. Alan Tudyk went to Dollhouse, so he had a more regular role.
oh, you mean
But-
Adam Baldwin,
Oh, sorry, Adam Baldwin. Yeah.
the good Baldwin.
Nathan Fillion played an awesome villain.
I don't know. I like him as TDK. I gotta admit, I've never watched Buffy. Not even the musical episode, nothing. I just jumped into Angel because it was vampires and I thought it'd be cool. But I've never seen Buffy. I've seen the movie.
Well, the musical episode is better than most musicals out there for movies.
Well, but this is what I mean too. Like when you take a movie and you convert it into a show, you have to make it a show. You can't try and do a movie, like that. And they do it. Stargate does it really well because the current Captain Ryan or whatever you want to call him, not Ryan. Oh my God, Kurt Russell's character.
I don't know. I very vaguely remember the movie, and I never watched the show.
Richard
What,
Dean
in Stargate?
Stargate.
Oh,
I have
jeez.
no idea.
Oh my God, Darcy's gonna kill me. But him,
Bob.
from the
right.
movie, Kurt Russell is a depressed military guy on the verge of suicide. And then you get into Stargate with Richard Dean Anderson, and he is a joking guy. But it works in that show, and it makes that show last 10 seasons, right?
Right.
That's good writing, is when you can twist a show like that or a movie like that into a show.
Yep.
So yeah, Buffy earned it. Absolutely.
Yeah, and they did the show without ever having the character Pike.
Yeah, that's true too.
There was always rumors that they were going to get someone to cameo as Pike, Luke Perry's character, but it never happened. And I'm okay with that.
Yeah. Because
Yeah, we definitely never needed that.
They did a smart thing, I think, honestly, keeping it away from that, because it was like a multiverse.
I felt that they did that. They wanted to stay as far away from the movie as possible. This was its own thing, and the movie doesn't exist.
And it was one of the few times, because I don't know how many times I had seen this before, but you could watch the crossover episodes, and you'd watch the episode of Buffy where Angel shows up, and then you'd watch the episodes of Angel later on where he leaves or someone else shows up, and it's like, oh, okay, well, this is the episode in this season where he went to Buffy and then she came to Angel.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought that was really neat the way they handled that.
That's another good sign of a good show, is when you can do crossovers that mesh.
Mm-hmm.
NCIS.
Yeah.
Spike's first introductory scene, his full scene, where he comes in, and it's the first episode of the second season of Buffy.
Yeah.
Into the vampire lair, and there's like they're trying to figure out who's gonna be the leader or whatever. He comes in and goes, "Who do you think you are? I was at the crucifixion." And Spike, like, if every vampire who was said he was at the crucifixion really was, it would have been like Woodstock. Now I was at Woodstock. I spent 3 days watching my hand move. I was instantly in love with that character at that point. That was so.
And you missed some of the best stuff by giving up.
Whatever.
He can binge it back. He's done it with X-Files. All right, my number 2. This show, and I'm now realizing NCIS should have been on my list because it's definitely pre-2010, and I watch it religiously. So, mine though, this one I watch a lot, and I am dying for it to come back for one more season. Jack Bauer, 24.
You think they will?
They're always teasing it. You never know,
because he's always either in jail, he's in someone's custody.
Yep, or getting traded to a country for some reason.
Yeah,
but yeah, I know Kiefer's hinted at it, but again, and I love the fact about this with him. Unless the story's there, he's not doing it.
Of course, because
he goes, we've had 1 billion scripts come to us for 24, just none of them were there.
Mm-hmm.
So
high bar.
Yeah,
good on him for sticking to that.
Exactly.
Hold to your standards.
Exactly. But that's a show I can watch over and over and again, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now we are at number 1.
We know.
And we know Jason's is Night Court. We know Rob's is Sons of Anarchy. So that leaves James.
My number 1 is my all-time favorite show. It probably will be for the foreseeable future, unless Westworld overtakes it, but I doubt it. It is Lost.
Oh,
wow. All right.
It was brilliant from the first episode. I love how each season has a main focus that you can pretty much center the whole season around. I think it just got better as the seasons went on, and it still boggles my mind how people are confused by the last season and the last episode, and you just want to grab them and smack them and say, like, just it's the best.
I didn't get past the second season.
Really?
Too many questions, not enough answers. I was done.
I watched it all too. Like, the last season to me didn't hold the bang the first seasons did.
Oh, last season's the best.
Again, that show to me felt like they were writing on the fly. I really felt like J.J. Abrams was watching all these chat people talking and going, crap, they figured out where we were going. Quick, change directions. That's what some of it felt like to me. Right? But that didn't kick it away from. I still love it. Dominic Monaghan on that show is amazing. Evangeline Lilly is amazing.
I did like in those first 2 seasons, Dominic Monaghan's character was probably the one I was most invested in.
Yeah,
I can say that he definitely had most of my attention.
There's a lot on that show that it made them. Like George, I can't remember his last name, but Hurley.
A horror, yeah.
Jorge
Garcia.
Garcia, yeah.
But yeah, that's a good pick.
You know, Evangeline Lilly almost wasn't in that show.
Really?
I think there was like visa issues or something that like came down to the last minute.
Well, yeah, because they were filming, is it Hawaii or something like that?
Yeah.
Well, there's any number of things because Michael Keaton was apparently supposed to play Jack originally.
Really?
Oh, that would have been interesting.
Huh.
Yeah.
Not Penny's boat. Yes, Mitch. Thank you. Hand on the glass. With
Oh, Charlie.
on a hand. Yep. That's brilliant. Yes.
You're gonna die, Charlie.
And Ben Linus is my favorite character from before Negan.
He is so creepy on that show.
Right? That's what I mean.
Yeah.
I hadn't gotten far enough with him to see that.
Oh, that's true
He
too.
was early. Hadn't been around long enough at that point. I saw him.
And whose fault is that?
See, right?
I acknowledge that, but I ain't going back to it. Lost was not strong enough for me.
Oh, so
But
good.
it's got a cult following. Obviously, you're a member.
Well, you can tell it's got a cult following when it shows up in video games. Literally, you play Arkham City and you'll be swinging around.
It even has a joke because Jorge Garcia guest starred for an episode on How I Met Your Mother, and he was known as the Blitz because he decided not to go out when everyone else were going out on the town, and he just had bad luck for years. And then somebody does the same thing in his presence, and they become the Blitz, sort of like calling them the Jinx.
Oh, neat.
And all of a sudden he gets all his good luck back. He's like, "Oh, it feels like I was on an island for years."
Oh, that's nice. That's cool. But yeah, no, you play Arkham City. Literally, you're Batman flying around and you got a little thing on. You can hear people talking about Lost. Why do they all get together in a church? I don't understand. Like the whole, how did the ending? Didn't understand the ending. They have inmates in Arkham City talking about it.
They have a joke in Kevin Smith's second best movie, Zack and Mary Make a Porno.
That one I remember.
That one I don't. Now
It's like that.
And it's a whole big thing in the movie This Is 40 about the daughter wanting to watch the last episode of Lost.
Oh, I remember that. Yes.
And she ends up watching it with her new grandfather, John Lithgow.
Yep. Who then goes on to star in Dexter because kids.
It all comes back around.
It's full circle. All right. Well, guys, thanks a ton. That was a blast doing that one.
Yeah.
And again, obviously, we have a lot to chat about for those shows because we're at an hour and a half.
Wow. Been a while.
Right?
Without a guest.
I know. God, can you imagine if we had a fourth person? Oh. Awesome. So, are you with us next week, James, at the GME?
Sorry, no.
No? Darn.
I already talked to Chris about that today.
We are going to be playing an amazing game.
Oh?
Yes. Based on an incredible movie franchise. All I can say is that this franchise has had my heart forever. That's literally all I'll say.
We've already played Escape from Death Star.
Yes. That is true. This other franchise. And then the week after is our Oscar issue.
Oscars and Raspberry
episode.
Razzies.
Oscars and Razzies, yes. And that will air literally 6 days before the Oscars.
Yes.
Nice.
We'll be
Nice.
seeing how close we are.
And then right after the Oscars, we got to get Nathan back on here. James has got to watch Bad Boy Puppy.
So we got to make that happen.
2 weeks. 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks.
All right.
Well, technically 3 weeks.
3 weeks. 3 weeks. Math sucks with me.
It's all right.
I don't know.
All right.
We got the game and then we got the Oscars,
Yes,
right? So there's
yes.
1 week left.
There you go. So 3 weeks.
Right. All right. In that case, for another week at the Movie Madhouse, I'm Rob.
I'm James.
I'm Jason.
We will see you all later.
Bye.
Toodles.
Shut up!